Oh man, I have a banger to talk to you guys about because I just got done watching one of the most awesome kick-ass shows on Netflix that I don't see anybody talking about, but we're going to jump into that in just 1 second. Here we go. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Rob back again with another video. If you guys are new to the channel, finding me for the very first time, please do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It is Saturday. I'm doing a video on a Saturday, which I normally don't do, but I am so excited for this show that I just got done watching on Netflix. Came out about 2 weeks ago. Nobody on Netflix is talking about this thing. This is an absolute banger. It is called The Last Samurai Standing. And this show is every single thing that I love in just time period in the show, everything. Like I'm speechless. That's how excited I am about the show. I am a massive Rurouni Kenshin fan. I've been a Rurouni Kenshin fan for over 20 years. Massive fan. I have the tattoo on my arm. As you guys can see, I have the tattoo. I am a massive fan of Kenshin. I love the lore. I love the whole like Japanese revolution and the Meiji era and the samurai and the way of the samurai and the way it left. And I even like that Tom Cruise movie, The Last Samurai. But this is The Last Samurai Standing. This show is literally if they took Rurouni Kenshin and gave it a live action adaptation and mixed in a little bit of the Hunger Games. That is what this show is, and it is effing awesome, people. It is effing awesome. Now, I'm a big fan of Japanese lore. I've been a fan of Japanese lore ever since middle school when I started getting into anime. I've really been a fan of, Japanese history and all that stuff and what was going on with the samurai and the shogunate and the Japanese revolution and, having the Western civilization coming over there and really influencing Japan and getting the way of the samurai, a way of the sword. And Hulu came out a year ago and they had the Shogun show. Freaking love that show. That show was good. I really love that show. But that is a more slower paced, methodical show with really good writing that takes place, still during the Shogunate timeline. But this show takes place post Shogunate. This is during the Meiji era. The Meiji era basically just started. The samurai are all but extinct. And this is basically the imperial government trying to get rid of the last remaining samurai. And the way they go about doing that is they hold this game. And they're like, hey, if you want to win 100,000 yen or whatever the price is, be here and you're going to participate in the game. The winner gets 100,000 yen. And of course, the main character is he's like this badass, slayer, like this manslayer, right? Like, how Kenshin has Batosa the Manslayer. This guy is also a manslayer. He was a massive manslayer during the revolution. And he's kind of called back into action when his daughter dies from this virus and his wife is now sick. They have no money. So in order to try to help cure his wife, get the money that he needs, he has to go enter this game. And they enter this game and there's literally hundreds of swordsmen, hundreds of samurai, and everybody is given a tag. This tag equals 1 point. You have like 1 month to get to Tokyo, and you need to have 30 points by the time you arrive to Tokyo, which means you need to start killing fools and getting their tags. Each tag equals 1 point. If you try to run, you get assassinated. You get killed if you try to run. You take your tag off, you have like 30 seconds, otherwise you are killed. It's like 10 seconds, 30 seconds. I forgot like the time frame, but you get killed if you take your tag off. This is straight balls to the wall action. Like it is everything that I love during that time period, like that storytelling, that history, that mythology. I'm a big fan of the Japanese Meiji era time period because it's really interesting how the samurai existed and they were basically sort of like the Imperial Army or the bodyguards of the shogunate. And then once the shogunate kind of disappeared, and we had the Meiji era begin, and it started becoming more imperialized, the swords of the samurai were outlawed. Samurai were destroyed. They were taken out. Their swords were illegal to even carry. They hit on a lot of this stuff in this show. Like I said, as someone who's a big fan of Rurouni Kenshin, they even name drop like the Obi-Wan group in the first episode, which was amazing. There's one character in this series that is an imperialist, and he has like this massive scar on the one side of his face, and he very much feels like Saito from Rurouni Kenshin. Another thing I really liked about this show is there are like some over the top characters that are like extremely insane or evil. They're bad and they do horrible things. And it really reminds me of a lot of the crazy villains that Kenshin had to deal with within that series itself. And I really just enjoy, the overall plot and the action of it. Is this show as well written as something like Shogun? No, it's not. It's very well written, but it's not at the level of Shogun. But it's something that is very well written, very well choreographed, and the action is spectacular. The plot point is on point. It feels like I'm watching a live action anime because there's so many different characters that you get to know, and then you start to kind of, go back to flashbacks and see how these characters evolve to where they are now, how these characters are intertwined and connected to one another, the true backstories to some of these characters, what are the motives of some of these characters, who's going to win, like what does winning even matter? There's an overall plot within the imperial government that other police officers aren't aware of. There's twists, there's turns, there's backstabbing, there's underground plotting. There's so many different things going on, and this is only 6 episodes. Like, it's only 6 episodes, and there's so much going on that I really much felt like I was watching a awesome anime come to life. And like I said, if you're a big fan of anime, big fan of Kenshin, I mean, I messaged my friends. I'm like, I like this more than Shogun. I love Shogun. By no means am I saying Shogun is a bad show. But for me, I love this show more than Shogun because it had the drama and the suspense and the heartfelt stuff in the plot and the story, but also it had that action. It had the over-the-top boss fights that you expect in an anime or a manga. You had the over-the-top characters. You had the good guys and the bad guys and the people that you're not too sure of. You have over-the-top characters. There's so much that's just going on that I absolutely love every second of it. And also, I'm a big fan of the post-Meiji era. I'm a big fan to see, like, well, this is the direction that Japan left. Like, Japan made this turn, and Japan never looked back after this. Feudal Japan with the samurai, that was one thing. And then there was a certain point in time where everything changed for Japan, and they went a completely different era. And how does that line in with The Last of the Samurai? That's something that the Tom Cruise film really hit on, and same thing with Rurouni Kenshin. And we don't really get a whole lot of that when it comes to TV and stuff. So when we get stuff like that, like The Last Samurai Standing, and they really hit on what it means to be this samurai who fought for honor, and now you have nothing. You have nothing. The imperial government doesn't care about you anymore. Your sword is outlawed. Your child is dying of this disease, this virus, this illness, and now your wife is also dying of this. And what are you willing to do to survive? It's something that I loved for over 20 years, just studying that time period. And for Netflix to come out with this show, it's a banger, guys. This thing is a bona fide banger. I absolutely loved every second of it. Can't wait for the next part to come out. This is a must-see show. This is must-see TV. Right now, streaming is killing it, man. We got Stranger Things, Welcome to Derry. People that love Tulsa King is loving Tulsa King this season. You have The Last Samurai Standing. Like, right now, if you are a fan of just good television, man, you are eating good. And they're wondering why the movie theaters aren't making the same amount of money as it once did, because we are getting bangers like this. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Just wanted to share it with you guys. If you managed to stick around, please do me a favor. Just simply hit that like and subscribe button. It would help out so much with the channel. Thank you guys so much. As always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.